There is a part of you that you hope nobody will ever see and find out about. It used to be part of your personality maybe when you were a child, but when you found out about this part, you decided to bury this part deep underground in your subconscious mind so that nobody will ever see. And maybe for a good reason. Maybe you believe that if somebody finds out about this part of yourself, about this your personality part, then you're going to be rejected and not loved and not approved by your closest friends and family. And now, up until this day, you're afraid to show this part to your family, friends, and maybe even to yourself. Most likely to yourself too. The strange thing about this part is the more you hide it, the more you reject it, the more you push it away, the more it has power over you and the more it controls your life. So today we're going to chat about this buried, deep, ashamed shadow self. So today's topic is about the shadow self. And there's a famous quote by Carl Jung, and it says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So that's exactly what we'll uncover today. And I really want this to be a practical video, and I want my channel to be practical. Even when I speak about philosophical things and about wisdom in modern life, and it's all philosophical and conceptual, I still want to have a next practical step on how to you can actually incorporate that in your life, and what kind of practice to do to integrate that lesson, not just philosophize about it. So I like to think about this hidden part of yourself, especially those deep shadows that you can't see, those that are basically covered in shame and guilt in the lowest emotions. If you know anything about the pyramid of the emotions, guilt and shame are at the bottom there. So they're covered in these emotions, right? And it's deep underground in your subconscious mind where your light can't reach. And what I mean by your light is simply your conscious mind. Right? So when you, for example, you can always see the surface. So you may see in yourself anxiety, you can see the imposter syndrome, you can see recurring toxic relationships, for example. And then you can see only the surface and you say, this is just me. I'm just getting into these relationships. I'm just this way. And these neuroses are just part of my personality. Where in fact, it's that part of you that you've buried, or maybe even many different parts of you that you've buried, that are still controlling your life, and they try to speak to you and they try to reach you from deep underground, but you're seeing that and you don't really see it, and you can't really decode that language, right? So you continue to be run by these unconscious shadows. So this shadow, even if you can't really hear it breathing and being alive, it's still very powerful and it's thriving inside of you. It speaks to you in an indirect way, right? And it can speak to you in these emotions, in these latent anxieties and imposter syndrome, neuroses. So if you really want to go to the next level in your self-actualization as a human, then you have to look at them and face them fully and heal yourself from them. And in that way, you can get to a more grounded, peaceful state of existence. So I believe, why do we have these parts? I believe when we were growing up and we were teenagers, especially when we were just individualizing, we're trying to detach ourselves from the culture, from our family, and we try to individualize. We find these parts of ourselves that we find very ugly, and we think that these parts of ourselves are going to be rejected by your family, by your friends, by your colleagues. So, and probably even for a good reason. Maybe that's even the truth, because in some parts of the world, especially in the developing nations and in third world nations, they're very kind of stuck on these emotions, on guilt and shame. right? It's in the culture to repress those emotions and not to feel them fully, and to basically toughen up, right? And not to be weak because they're perceived as being weak. All these weak part of yourselves that don't really help your society and your family to survive. So it's a better situation in the modern countries, in the modern world, and it's getting better in all of the parts of the world. We can definitely see that happening, but still, it's a big pattern even in the so-called developed countries. So there's a good reason why we suppress those parts of ourselves, right? At some point we needed those things to survive, and because if you, for example, show that part of yourself that you think is ugly, people are probably going to reject you, right? And they're not going to accept you, and you're going to have a harder time surviving in that friend circle, in that social circle. But as you move through your life, as you become an adult, there's a specific point in your development where you need to let go of that and make the unconscious conscious. So there's a time to build up your ego, to build up your trauma, because most of the times trauma helps you to survive. And then there's a time to face it and let it go and heal it. So I believe for most people that are watching this, the next step is actually facing these shadows and these latent emotions, baby step by baby step. Because if we don't do it, we're going to be stuck in these latent emotional turmoil. We're going to stuff ourselves with food, with social media, with TikTok, with Instagram, with distractions, just so we don't have to look inside of ourselves and meet those shadow parts of ourselves. Now, again, I don't believe there's anything wrong with those parts. I believe at some point they're necessary. This is your psyche doing its job, right? It's self-regulating so that you can actually survive in the social domain and you can become a part of the social collective ego and you can fit in. So it's not a bad thing, but again, at some point we have to face it. Otherwise, we're going to be, again, run by these emotions, by these latent emotions of, and not only emotions, but also paradigms, thought paradigms. So today I want you to invite that part of yourself, and most likely when I speak about this part, you probably know what I'm talking about, right? Now I'm trying to direct your awareness, your consciousness onto those parts, and you probably have an intuition onto what that part is. So today I want you to invite that part to speak to you for the first time, maybe for the first time, and you listening into it, just what it has to say to you. Listening into its direct language and not indirect language, not the anxieties, not the neuroses. So this is going to be a very practical part of this video. We're going into this. It's going to be a guided visualization. So it's going to take maybe 5 to 15 minutes. So if you don't have that time and space and a safe space, quiet space to do that, we can come back to this video later. But if you do, let's jump into it. So I want you to close your eyes and picture a perfect place at a perfect time where you feel extremely safe and grounded. This part can be anywhere in the world, in any location. It's your perfect little heaven where you feel very relaxed and safe. It can be the woods, the desert, maybe by the ocean, maybe even another planet. For me, that's a cabin in the woods by a lake. I sit on a porch, it's raining, and I can smell coffee. Now, what is that place for you? Picture it. Now, I want you to picture yourself enjoying your time there, doing the things you would do on a slow Sunday morning. Just enjoy your time there. Now, I want you to picture that part of yourself that you've denied and ashamed of and afraid of as a human being that looks just like you. It has your eyes, it has your body, it has your hands, and it's approaching your place slowly. It gets closer and closer to your place from a distance. It comes up to you and you invite to sit it at a comfortable place right beside you. Picture its emotions, picture its clothes, picture how it looks at you. What's on its face? Anger, frustration, neutrality. Now ask this human, this shadow part of you, what would be the biggest thing that you want to tell me? And let it speak. As it speaks to you, go into your body and feel all the sensations fully. Just open up to everything. Let all the sensations to flow through you without any resistance. As this part of you stops speaking, ask it, is there anything else? Listen to it fully with openness and understanding, and let all the emotions in your body flow through you. Do not try to fix anything. Now, as you move to the end of the conversation, tell it, thank you for saying all this. I understand you. and bring your awareness back to the present moment. Awesome. So this was a taste of speaking to only one shadow. And ideally, this is a practice that has to happen every single day, right? Just continue doing this. This part, the shadow, and all the shadow selves of you, they don't want to destroy you. They're part of you. They want you to survive. They just want to be listened to and accepted and loved, right? It's a big theme of fear and love. The more you love it, the less control it has over you, right? It just wants to be loved and accepted. Now, the key here is to listen to it without judgment and with full understanding, right? And number two is, in addition to that, is to feel all the sensations fully with zero resistance. So whatever comes up in your body, you have to feel those sensations, because most likely there's going to be a lot of suppressed emotions coming up, right? And if you do it properly, and if you tap into that unconscious mind, there's going to be a lot of emotions that might overwhelm you. So you want to be very grounded in your present moment as you listen to that shadow self, as you visualize that conversation and feel all the sensations fully. Now, if you want a practical guide on how to do that, I have a mini course called the Emotional Processing Protocol. It's a free course. It's a 3-step process which it takes you to fully experience your emotions in the moment and then let them go. So you can combine those two things, shadow work and somatic work, and get a bigger experience, right? A better experience of healing and understanding yourself. Yeah, that's pretty much. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helps. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this kind of philosophical / practical approach, this is the first video like this. I usually leave the practical steps again in my free course, right? When you join in, I'm going to do more of a practical stuff with people somewhere separate, right? Where people are ready to do this kind of work. But if you like this, let me know. I'm really curious to hear your opinion. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in videos like this, please click the subscribe button, and I'll chat to you soon.